time has come. Open up your eyes and see the sun. Open up your spirit.
Wake up, 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 Africa.
Before I say anything, all glory, all praise, all honor to the Most High for everything He is doing in our lives, for being such an instrumental part, and for just using us as such a, for using me, for using Phil, for using Willie D, for using Yakanol, I don't know if I pronounce your name right, for using our brother, for using all of us at such a time as this. Really, there's been so much on my heart. I've really been praying and meditating about what to share. And I was in Buffalo a few days ago, and I was speaking to an African brother, and they were like, we don't travel alone. I've come here from Kenya, but I've come with my ancestors. I've come with the spirit of Kenyans, they're all praying, they're all excited. I've come with my guardian angels, and they're all mingling, as we're here. So each and every one of us represents a nation of people. So it's not just the 75 of us that are here. There are thousands that are going to be touched by everything. And what we're doing here, it's a prophetic connection. And it's prophetic because something is happening. I'm telling you. And I'm just shaking, like something is happening. Something is underfoot. And it's just absolutely amazing to watch. So the one thing my African brothers and sisters wanted me to say is they love you. And they said, just tell our brothers and sisters we love them. We love them, we love them, we love them. Please never believe this thing that, Africans don't love you and everything. Because the truth is, we never knew what happened with the transatlantic slave trade. We never knew what happened to you. We've been closed off. We've been in darkness. And we must remember, that's one of the things I wanted to get into. I really wanted to kind of explain the colonial story because I think it will really help us to understand. A lot of us gained independence 50 years ago, which means my grandmother fought for independence and my grandfather. And what happened is theirs was a physical independence. They were beaten and they were raped, they were mistreated by the colonizer. But they took a vow of silence. So they never told us what the colonizer did, but they said, get educated so you can get out of this system. When the colonizer left, he left his system in place. And we were always told, first of all, our seers prophesied about the colonizers coming. And they said these people who look like albinos or something, strange people, they're like us, but they look almost like a lizard people would come, and there'd be these, tracks. They'd put all these tracks, which is the railway. First they came and they built the railway. So it had been prophesied that they would come. And it was also prophesied that when they left, they'd leave through the front door and they'd come in through the side door. So we celebrated our independence prematurely because what they did is they left their schools, they left their hospitals, they left their entire system. And before independence, there was something called the Kennedy airlifts. And so from Kenya, for example, they took like 50 to 100 Kenyans, brought them here, took them to universities in the US, took them to universities in the UK, and then these people came back to Kenya and ran Kenya. So that means these people were brainwashed. These people were made to feel like the Western system was better. So our grandmothers took a vow of silence. They never told us who the colonizer was. They never told us how bad it was. Our mothers were psychologically enslaved because they went through the education system. They were beaten when they spoke their mother tongue. They were punished when they spoke their mother tongue. If you did well, you made it in the system because the system existed. And so we are third generation where we are now trying to find our identity. But I mean, it's such a short span because we've grown up with mothers and fathers who believe the white man is the best thing that ever happened, who want us to be Western educated so we can come back and become a doctor and become a lawyer in their system. And so that's the challenge we're facing. But you see, another thing is a lot of us can't fit in that system. So we have a very high unemployment rate. And I think it's very important to understand that 65% of the African population is 25 and under. 50% is under 18. And so and this is why I'm advocating for us coming together, because we must be the stewards of this new generation. We must be the ones that educate them, that teach them, that nurture them, that love them, because they cannot continue to grow up broken. You know, we are broken, our mothers were broken, our grandparents were broken, but we must end that brokenness. And so there is a responsibility on us to rise above, because love is the only thing that's going to, heal this. And have to realize now is that and it's funny that this tool that was created, this World Wide Web, is actually being used as a tool of our liberation. And so it's like, yes. And so it's like there's just an amazing simmering. There's an amazing simmering going on. And I don't know if you guys have read this book. It's called The Tipping Point, and I really recommend that you read it. And it talks about how culture changes. And so it talks about how first there's like the early responders, the ones, I don't even know if I'm getting the terms right, but the ones who first catch on to an idea. Then after the early responders, we get the first wave. And then after the first wave, it's usually like with fashion, you'll see the first wave and people are like, oh, that's a bit out there, but it's cute. Then now you get the second wave. And as an African people, we are approaching the second wave. And what happens is once you hit the second wave, the culture changes. So once you hit the second wave, the trend changes, the fashion changes, the music changes, So like with rap music, there was a small minority that listened to it, and then a community accepted it, and then it became the global norm. And that is what the colonizer, the Mzungu, that is what he fears, because we are about to hit a tipping point. And when we hit that tipping point, things are going to move extremely rapidly. And so, there's just a few things that we need to do. We need to heal ourselves. There's no one who's going to come and heal you. There's no one who's going to come and help you sort out your issues. We don't have the opportunity to bicker and fight. And so I love everything our brothers said. We must rise above, heal what needs to be healed in us, sort out, the brokenness that is in our minds. And it's a great challenge, because you're broken and then all of a sudden you're being told there's an awakening and then things are gonna, but we are that generation that just has to be the bigger person and say, I've heard Africans don't like us, but I'm going to ignore that. I'm not going to allow my feelings. I'm not going to catch feelings. I'm going to ignore that, and I'm going to visit Africa anyway, Those kind of things. And really, we must be the ones who take those steps, because we are trying to reach a tipping point. There's something that's happening. There's something that's afoot. And I must mention, lastly, pray, Pray, meditate, however you do it, but connect with the Most High, because these things cannot be done in our power. They cannot be done in our strength. He is moving rapidly, and so we must also get our spiritual connection right We must improve that frequency to hear the voice of the Most High, because he's speaking to us individually. You don't need to go to listen to anybody, telling you about your life, because he is giving you direct instructions. And anything that anyone tells you about your life should be just a confirmation of what the Most High has been telling you. But we need to be praying for ourselves, for each other, for Africa, and because prayer, crying out, that is what is going to really, really transform and change. And you know what? It's so exciting. It's so exciting to be alive at such a time as this.
Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, Africa.